Okay, so I did a quick calculation as to how fast XP swordfish are. Looks like each inventory takes about a minute. We cooked 27 swordfish, and yeah, and then we multiplied that by, first we had to divide 3600 by 62, multiply that by 27, and then 140 XP per swordfish gets us about 200k XP. So it's actually relatively fast. I believe that if you were crafting blue dragon hide shields for crafting, as well as dragon bones over the cremation fire, then you would get higher overall XP rates. But yeah, it's pretty good for free to play, all these three methods. Okay, so one inventory of big bones took 1 minute and 4 seconds. So that's 64 seconds. There are how many of those are in an hour? It's 50 something in an hour if you divide 3600 divided by 64. Multiply that by 27 and then multiply it by 140 and you get, I'm sorry, not 140, but 338, which is really a lot. And you get something like, let me check one sec, 500k XP per hour. So that is pretty insane. So I'm going under a major rethink of one of the goals I set out for this series on my channel. Or not my channel, but in episode 1. In episode 1, I said that I wanted to go for the scaling pets. However, the scaling pets are basically much like the giant mole's pet drop, in which it's a very low drop rate. It's something that's RNG based. For example, you can put in hundreds of hours and not get anything, but you can put in like say 2 minutes and then get it on the first drop if you're lucky. So I really dislike this aspect of RuneScape, just having this sort of RNG elements for the sake of completing things. I think that if you put in the time, you should definitely get the reward out of it. And that's actually why video games might be a little bit addicting, because it's like that in the game, but not so much in real life. But in any ways, I prefer that. And so what I'm going to do instead of going for the skilling pets is that I'm going to go for 120s. Now, if I get a skilling pet while going for 120, then I'll stop there. But if I don't get a skilling pet by 120, then I'll just end at 120. So that was one major change I think that would probably go down well with me, or it's something that I would like to do or like to edit from our first episode. So I accidentally made a couple blue d'hide bodies instead of blue d'hide shields. It shouldn't affect the return too much because I just made 9 of them, but we're going to add the the price of those 9 blue d'hide bodies to our revenue from the blue d'hide shields. So we'll see if we profited soon. So I decided to try slow selling these. We got an extra 15, I believe. Was it 15? It was probably 15 if you include, well, obviously this is including the scroll of dexterity, which I have, using a portable crafter, which you definitely should do. So we have about 1.442 million GPs worth of them on the market. We have about 50k. So we did not break even. We're about 60, 70k over break even point. So slight loss, but for the XP, I think it could be worth it. It's not very, it's not that bank breaking, to be honest. So unfortunately, my client crashed right as I got the Corrupt Dragon Shield, but I can definitely tell you it was definitely there. I just really regret that. Sort of like a really nasty coincidence that it did end up crashing. But yeah, so we got our second piece. Well, third piece, technically. Alright, I just got back from restarting my computer. Every time you see the little sign that says it needs to be restarted, that's a necessary update. Please go ahead and do that before you start recording like me. And look at that, we have 1k revenants killed. Very nice, only 9k more to go. So while I was at revenants, I was testing how many kills I could get per hour. I got more or less about 280 to 290 kills per hour. So if you divide that out by 9,000, which is how many more revenants we need to kill for our goal, that's going to work out to about 32, 33 hours in total, which was actually a lot less than I thought. But again, if you're killing the lower level revenants, then you're going to get less reward. The reward drops are going to be less common, but they kill a lot quicker. So I think could be about the same, but maybe there isn't. So it's been about 2 or 3 hours, and our blue d'hide bodies did not slow sell for 6.8k. We're going to try to slow sell them for 5,750, which is just a little bit above the med price. But yeah, I would probably recommend alching these, or if you're a member, definitely putting them in your alcher machine from Invention. Yeah, I should sell overnight though, but again, I'd want to use this GE slot. So, alright, so what I'll do in the meantime as my orders start to fill is I'm just gonna, use up my Luminite Stone Spirits as well as maybe my Runite if it really goes that long. So I've been testing 3 different methods of getting to the mining guild in free to play. The first and fastest method is to teleport to Falador, then running from the town square. The second fastest is running from the Vexillum, or I'm sorry, from the clan camp with the Vexillum, and running to the mining guild. And the third fastest is using the Cabbage Patch teleport on the Explorer's Ring 3 to teleport to the Cabbage Patch and get to the mining guild in about 32 seconds. The entire spread was about 6 seconds, so if you care about 6 little seconds, then, well, maybe just go ahead with the Falador teleport. So realistically, if I want to make money in free-to-play, I'm going to have to start flipping. The problem is that compared to members, free-to-play flipping has a lot more disadvantages to it. For example, you only get 3 GE slots versus the 8 for members. However, because I'm going to be doing skilling on the side and I might need to insta-buy or sell some stuff, I'm pretty much limited to 2 GE offer slots at any time. And this has several effects. Basically, again, the buys are going to be pretty slow, generally speaking. There's a high risk because, again, you have to invest more money into a particular item if you want to make the same amount of profit as in, for example, free-to-play or pay-to-play. And actually get less profit because the range of items available to free-to-play is sort of limited in both, for example, higher valued items or items that are worth more than bonds. Those are rare in free-to-play. It's a little bit different for OSRS because you still have like the gilded equipment that's actually worth a lot when you compare it to free-to-play, or compared to RS3. But yeah, so those are just the main disadvantages that come with flipping. I'm going to, over the next coming weeks, I'm going to see if it's really worth trying to learn it in free-to-play, but I think it could be. Like, for example, some people in the free-to-play clan, they do flip bonds and other stuff, so yeah, we'll just keep an eye out for those. The most important thing about Revenants is that when you're taking out the Hellhound over here, it basically heals more than you can often deal damage, like, for example, the Asphyxiate. Now, that's because your accuracy, well, my accuracy here is something about 73 or so. Now, if the combat update, well, if the combat beta as it currently exists is going to come out, then that 70% accuracy is just going to translate to damage potential, just like with Necromancy. So with Necromancy, you pretty much hit all the time. Once the combat beta update comes out for, hopefully for the rest of the combat styles, you'll get, basically the Revenant Hellhound will take more damage, hopefully, and maybe just not avoid, like, maybe I just won't miss on the Hellhound, rather. That would be really quite divine. And after my first rev trip for today, I killed an extra 136. Yeah, an extra 136, so yeah, that's great. So I've actually been thinking about Iron Manning some of the skilling requirements that cost money. For example, crafting is usually, well, you can profit from crafting definitely, although the profitable methods are considerably slower than the non-profitable methods, as I think I've shown in a couple videos. Cooking, again, you're basically losing money because raw swordfish is always going to be greater than the cooked swordfish. Prayer, again, you're burning bones, you didn't get anything from it. So I'm going to need some money for those either way. As for the Artisan's Workshop, I'm probably just going to buy the rune plate bodies themselves over the GE because it just take way too long to mine the ore and collect it, smith it, etc. But for other things, like for example, if I want to get some dragon bones or dragon leathers for crafting and prayer respectively, then I might just kill the dragons themselves so that I can have that extra GE slot. So something I'll keep in consideration. Also, besides the extra GE slot, I would get a little bit closer to getting to my goal of 1 billion in free-to-play. So I just did some calculations as to what the fastest methods for getting prayer and crafting speed would be. Now, if you're worth about 2 mil an hour, which is pretty much what I am right now in free-to-play, then your best bet is to go with dragon bones and, I believe, green d'hide bodies. Or not green d'hide bodies, but green d'hide shields. That's taking into account the profit you make with the green d'hide shields as well as the loss you make with the dragon bones. And you just sort of sum up the time it takes to get that money you lost plus the time it takes to actually skill. So, and time is money, so that's basically the gist of what I was getting at. Okay, so I might have lied about the blue d'hide, not the blue d'hide, but yeah, the green d'hide shields, because maybe according to Wiki, you can actually get 3 mil an hour at emeralds, or making emerald necklaces at the Kili Furnace. I haven't tried that out recently. I mean, I tried it out in the last episode. I didn't really keep track of the profits, though. But if it is about 3 mil an hour, I'd have to kind of recalculate everything. But not the dragon bones. The dragon bones would definitely be the best method for me, regardless if it's 2 mil or 3 mil an hour. But also need to consider that you can only buy so many emeralds in one 4-hour buy limit. So you can just buy them overnight too, but again, it's sort of limited skilling. Alright, I think it's going to be enough evidence for today. We didn't quite make our goal of 300 revenants per day. But that goal was set because we had 9,000 left to do as of yesterday. And if we go 300 at a time, that'll give us 9,000 in about a month. But yeah, we're making progress. But yeah, as for crafting emerald necklaces, I mean, the tricky part is probably going to be getting the emeralds from a G at a good price. I believe there are a couple dozen thousand sold each day, which is really not that whole lot. But I don't know, it's something that probably want to buy it overnight or something when you're not actively playing. Alright, so I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy the rest of the Rune Plate Body 3s that I need to get, or that I need to unlock all the Psalm Smiths, the Artisan's Workshop, so let's see if we can get it for a lower price below the GE Med. And we got 100 of them, so it looks like bio limit that got through. And as you can see in the last clip, I accidentally brought my soft clay into my bank. And that's the end of this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate you if you subscribe because it really helps me keep up making this content and it lets me know that this is something that's worth doing. But yeah, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.